All right, let's dive into a story that has been told for centuries. It's this ancient, kind of unsettling fable about love, obsession, and a cure that's not at all what it seems.
And it already boils down to this one central, powerful question. What if the solution you're desperately searching for is actually so much worse than the original problem? To really set the scene, the original text paints this incredibly haunting picture. Just listen to this. Whatever they tried, her illness only worsened. Hope was turned to pain. That's the level of despair we're talking about. That's where our story kicks off.
So let's get into it. Act 1, a royal obsession. It all starts with a powerful king. He's out on a hunt and he sees this beautiful servant girl, and bam, he is completely smitten. So he buys her, brings her back to his palace, just totally consumed by this love at first sight. But almost as soon as she arrives, things take a turn. The girl gets incredibly sick. And it's this mysterious illness. Nobody can figure out what it is. One minute she's the object of a king's affection, the next she's struck down by something they can't explain. So the king does what any king would do. He calls in the best doctors in the land. And they're confident, they promise him they can cure her. But the reality? It's bleak. No matter what they try, she just keeps getting worse. So you have this huge gap between their confident promises and the painful, grim reality. Conventional wisdom just completely fails. And the fable just captures this despair with some really haunting imagery. It says she grew as frail as a strand of hair, while the king was so distraught his eyes wept blood. I mean, wow, it's a really powerful way to show just how deep their shared suffering was. With all hope pretty much gone, the story takes a sharp turn. This brings us to Act 2, where a totally new and very different kind of solution shows up, a mysterious cure. The king is at his wit's end. He's done with medicine, so he turns to a higher power. And then, in this rapid-fire sequence of events, his desperate prayers lead to a prophetic dream. The dream tells him a special healer is coming. And just like that, the healer arrives. And this is our first major twist. The healer takes one look at the girl and immediately understands the problem isn't physical at all. The real diagnosis? Lovesickness. Her soul is literally sick because she's in love, but not with the king. So who is it? Well, the healer figures it out. She's desperately in love with a young goldsmith from the city of Samarkand. So now, all of a sudden, the king isn't just fighting an illness, he's got a rival. Now, to understand what happens next, you really have to understand this goldsmith's character. The king summons him, promising him riches and status. And the text tells us he was beguiled and left his town and children for more. That one line tells you everything you need to know, right? He's easily tempted by shiny things. Okay, so the healer's advice is surprisingly compassionate. His plan is simple. Just bring the two lovers together. The king actually agrees, and before you know it, the servant girl and the goldsmith are married. It really feels like we're heading for a happy ending, doesn't it? And for a while, it totally is a happy ending. The new couple live together in the palace, and for 6 whole months, everything seems perfect. They're happy, she's healthy, but this little period of calm, it's just setting the stage for the story's final dark turn. Because this story is definitely not over. We're now at the final act, where the real nature of this cure is about to be revealed. Welcome to Act 3, a cruel lesson. And this is the moment where everything just flips on its head. The healer, acting on what the story calls a divine prompting, mixes a special drink for the goldsmith, but it's not a health tonic. It's a slow-acting, deadly poison. So why on earth would he do this? Well, the logic is direct and really brutal. As the poison starts to work, the goldsmith's famous good looks and his charm begin to fade. And as his appearance disappears, guess what else disappears? The servant girl's love. The story says it perfectly. Little by little, her love begins to fail. And that brings us right to the core message, the whole point of this entire fable. Loves that are for the sake of outward hue are not true love. This whole awful ordeal was a brutal, unforgettable lesson about what love really is and what it isn't. So what is this love for outward hue? It's exactly what it sounds like. It's love that's based only on the surface stuff. Physical beauty, charm, how someone looks, instead of who they are deep down, their character, their soul.
So, when you put it all together, the cure was never for her physical sickness. It was for her shallow love. The final lesson is that this kind of superficial affection is super fragile. It just can't survive when beauty fades. The healer's cruel, terrible act was designed to destroy that shallow love once and for all.
And what's wild is how this ancient story leaves us with such a modern question. I mean, we live in a world where we can filter and perfect every single image. The line between what's real and what just looks good is blurrier than ever. So the fable really forces us to ask ourselves, how do we tell the difference between true love and just a beautiful illusion?